Welcome everybody to the Mainstream Indie Music channel. Thank you so much for the support that I've had. And to start off the video, I have to apologize. I found a nice park to record this video in, and I set up myself really nicely. And all of a sudden, I don't know if it's sinuses or allergies or what, but literally within the first few minutes of wanting to record now, I sneezed like 20 times, so I don't quite know what's going on. I apologize if I sound a little nasally, but I promise I'm not sick. I think it's just something in the air kind of agitated my sinuses, so I'm going to do my best with this recording. But regardless of all that, welcome to the channel if you are new here, and if you are a subscriber, if you've listened in the past, welcome back. We talk about all things indie music, and this week, this has been a lead up to this band for quite some time. As you know, in the past, we made a video on the former band of Jack Antonoff, and we made a video on Jack himself about his history with Fun, and a little bit into his band, the Bleachers. Well, it's just Bleachers, there's no the. And this week we are talking about Bleachers themselves. We're going to talk about a little bit into what led up to them becoming a band. But really, if you want to know more about that, see the aforementioned videos that I just finished talking about. This is really going to be what they've been doing since becoming a group. Because more than anything, I think a lot of people know the origin of this band because of the fallout of what happened with Fun. But I think a lot of people kind of either didn't keep up with them or they just don't know. So this is going to be a video into that. So, of course, as I mentioned, Jack Antonoff was a member of the former, started as indie band, turned into huge 2010s band, Fun. And what's interesting is Jack was kind of in the background. Really, the whole focus was on the lead singer of Fun, not so much Jack himself, which I'm going to make a whole video on him in the future, because his story is pretty interesting as well. But what is interesting is, behind the scenes, Jack was the mind and the heart, the songwriter, the composer of Fun, but he was the lead guitarist. And in a lot of the music videos, when you think of Fun, he wasn't initially deemed to be kind of like the main man of that group. But in all actuality, behind the scenes, he was doing almost everything. And of course, there's a lot of speculation. Nothing has been completely said or known about the ending of that group, but Fun released those two albums, the second one being massively popular. And then after the tour for that album was done, they were done as a group. Jack, though, was far from being done. Almost immediately after Fun disbanded, he decided to form his own band, Bleachers. I remember when this happened, when Bleachers' first hit came out, Roller Coaster. A lot of people were kind of confused initially. You know, they were like, this guy, you're telling me he's the lead singer-songwriter of this band. He didn't even sing in Fun. So what are you saying? You know, he's going to be headlining a band. And I remember, too, hearing his voice. At first, initially, I think a lot of people were underwhelmed by his singing voice, because he essentially wasn't as talented of a singer as the lead singer of Fun was. I remember that was my own reaction when Bleachers first came out. But after hearing their debut album, I know mine and many other people's attitudes shifted. Strange Desire, the album, was released in 2014, and along with Roller Coaster, their other hit, even to this date, one of their top hits, I Want to Get Better, was also released. And I believe that 1-2 combo of Roller Coaster and I Want to Get Better really helped boost them almost immediately into the attention, especially of the alternative charts, but I think even the charts overall. Now, Jack was ready for the band to kind of go off as they did, because for almost a year previous to first forming the band Bleachers. And on top of not really having a set group initially, he kind of just would have touring musicians behind him. Jack was ready for the spotlight, because he had been writing and releasing these songs. And I almost think he was ready for Fun to disband. Not that he was hoping for it to, but I think he was secretly kind of awaiting that happening. And sure enough, that's what exactly happened. So after the very first album, he released the album a second time, but I think the second release is really what helped boost his career even more, because the second album was essentially a re-releasing of the first album, but all the songs, or at least most of the songs, were covered by female artists, such as Sarah Bareilles, Sia, and other famous musicians, even indie female musicians at the time. The second album, Gone Now, was released not long after the tour for the very first album was completed. Personally, I love this second album even more than the first album. I know that might be controversial to you Bleachers fans, but oh my goodness, I love this second album. Gone Now is, I think, more melancholy and a little less explosive than the first one was, but it is just packed with amazing, amazing songs. And don't even take it from me, look at the songs in this album. Don't Take the Money and Everybody Lost Somebody. You know, it's just so melancholy but so powerful. And once again, backing the release of that album, about a year later, maybe a little less, again, they re-released this album but had female singers instead of course, him singing. Now, this third album, I think, is where a lot of people kind of stopped following what Bleachers was doing, which is sad, because other than their diehard fans, of course, their third album is just as amazing as the first two. If you haven't told or figured it out by now, I am a huge Bleachers fan. Maybe I'm a little biased, but the third album was Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night, and it was Bruce Springsteen really infused. And if you don't believe me, well, Bruce is featured on one of their hit songs off of that album. They since have toured for it and released a live album based on all of those songs and their old catalog as well. In 2024, Bleachers released their fourth self-titled album. At this point, Jack's really touring band has officially become members of Bleachers, so you can see it on their main website now that all of them are listed. And their tour for not only their fourth album, but kind of everything that they've done since the beginning has been their largest tour ever since the start. They've done 3 international tours during this leg of tour, and I think some of the biggest venues, including Madison Square Garden. So, where does that leave us on the indie ranking? Well, as much as I love them, I mean, you got to think they're right on the cusp of that mainstream success, which is not a bad thing. But, I mean, Bleachers themselves might be a little obscure. I don't know if every single person you talk to is going to know who they are. But I think just Jack alone being with Fun, and then he's been a producer for many, many big pop artists as well, really pushes me towards the mainstream. I think they're just under it. But what do you guys think? I'll see y'all next week.